What would you do if you were the only one left in the world? When you find that you are the only one in the world, you can go to the store and get what you want without spending money. You can also drive the most expensive luxury car and run all the way at the fastest speed. You are the master of this world. Does it really like this? In fact, the final loneliness may drive you to look for other survivors everywhere. He is Ethan Gray, the only survivor in the world. The first thing he does when he gets up every day is to exercise his body. He must improve their physical fitness, because only in this way can they face sudden difficulties at any time. They are going to go out hunting because they haven't eaten meat for a long time, and meat is a luxury for them. At this time, a reindeer appeared in their field of vision. Ethan Gray secretly followed it, raised his gun and aimed, and suddenly a lion pounced on him. Ethan Gray was about to shoot, but he found a male lion walking slowly with his child. Ethan Gray hesitated. At this moment, the watch suddenly remembered that Ethan Gray looked back at the sky, and the sun was about to set. He didn't go directly into the house. Instead, he first sprinkled disinfectant outside the door to remove the smell, and then locked all the doors and windows from the inside. What's more strange is that he and Max got drunk in the bathtub. Why is this? Because 3 years ago, a medical expert developed an anti-cancer drug, which resulted in gene mutation. A virus swept the world, and the only survivors were Ethan Gray and a dog. The food every day is basically canned food. Looking at the old news, this is the only way to hear human voices. Giving Max a bath may be the happiest thing for him. When he was really bored, he went out with Max to search for supplies. The houses he searched were marked. He would go to the store to get some movies to watch. They would try their luck at the dock and use the radio to find other survivors. This lasted for 3 years. On this day, Ethan Gray was playing golf on the tail of the plane. Max was lying there leisurely and lazily, and Ethan Gray swung. At this time, Max suddenly became alert, as if he saw something. Ethan Gray picked up the 8X telescope to check and found that quickly chased after it. The desperate reindeer suddenly went into the small dark room, and Max chased him without thinking. Ethan Gray shouted from behind, but it was too late, because Ethan Gray knew clearly that there was another terrifying world in the darkness. Ethan Gray was extremely panicked, but there was no way. In order to save his dog, he could only bite the bullet and go in. The man walked into the small dark room. It was pitch black here, and he could not see his hand in front of him. He also merged with the darkness. Ethan Gray searched carefully and found Max under the table. Max took 2 steps back and stared straight ahead. Ethan Gray slowly moved his sight. Suddenly, a demon came towards him. Ethan Gray fired a machine gun. The man and the dog ran wildly towards the light, running all the way. At the moment they were caught, they broke through the window and fell down. It turns out that they can only live in the dark, and their eyes will be sunburned in an instant, which is too dangerous. But at this moment, Ethan Gray had a bold idea, which was to catch one and study its eyes. Then he hammered nails into the ground, put on iron rings, and then put a piece of black cloth at the door. Then he took out a steel wire rope, connected one end to the black cloth and threw the other end to the iron bridge. Then he used a small car as a guide, and a capture trap was completed on the spot. Then he sprinkled disinfectant on the clothes to cover up the human smell. Everything is ready. Just catch the night demon. Ethan Gray stood on the car waiting to be hooked, and suddenly the nail broke. The car dropped quickly, and a night demon covered with black cloth was hung out. The night demon screamed, and Ethan Gray went up and shot the target, and the target was silent instantly. Then he took it back to the laboratory for research. Unexpectedly, it was a female. The night demon had previously been experimented on mutant mice and had achieved some success. Ethan Gray continued to look for supplies with Tie Zhu, but they found a dummy from a store not far from the corner of the street. There was no one else in the city. Could it be that the dummy had come back to life? This made Ethan Gray panic. He couldn't believe it. And then he picked up a machine gun and started shooting. His family members were all panicked. It was broad daylight. Could it be haunted? Ethan Gray went forward to find out what was going on, and suddenly he seemed to step on something. Ethan Gray looked back and saw a car falling down, hitting it on the side, hanging in the air, and fainting with blood dripping from his head. Ethan Gray woke up. It was almost dark, and he had to escape quickly. Ethan Gray took out a dagger and cut the rope on his leg. At the moment of falling, his posture was wrong, and the dagger pierced his thigh, which hurt him so much. The sun was about to set, so he could only move towards the car little by little. But at this moment, the leader of the night demon released several vicious dogs. Fortunately, A ray of sunlight between the buildings blocked them. Ray of sunlight disappeared. The vicious dogs instantly pounced on Ethan Gray, suddenly rushed out to save Ethan Gray. Ethan Gray picked up his gun and killed the next day. When he was about to shoot, he was pounced on the ground by the vicious dog. When Ethan Gray struggled to fight and was about to be bitten, saved Ethan Gray again. The battle was over, but Tie Zhu was also bitten by the vicious dog. Ethan Gray took him back to the laboratory with heartache, injected him with anti-venom serum, and then held him tightly in his arms, humming songs to comfort Tie Zhu. But his hair began to fall off, his eyeballs turned red, and his mouth was full of blood. Suddenly, Tie Zhu bit Ethan Gray like the wind, and Ethan Gray could only strangle his neck tightly, with tears in his eyes. Song Max was on the road, and Ethan Gray lost his friend who had accompanied him for more than 1,000 days and nights, and no one would accompany him after that. Ethan Gray was desperate, and he decided to use his life to avenge Max. That night, a group of night demons rushed towards him, and the man drove towards Yimao like crazy. This was either revenge. Ethan Gray was stuck tightly in the car, and the Night Mo leader slowly crawled in at this time. Seeing that Ethan Gray was about to get a box lunch, at this moment, a strong light appeared, and all the night demons were instantly scared away. When he woke up the next day, he found that he was sleeping on his own sofa, and his wounds were sutured. When he got up, he saw that it was his wife and children. He had hallucinations. He couldn't believe that there were other people alive in this world, and he couldn't believe that he actually made his only remaining flesh. He was lonely for too long. Ethan Gray didn't know how to get along with others anymore, and he seemed extra excited. The main reason was that you touch my flesh. The woman is called Anna. She accidentally heard Ethan Gray's broadcast a few days ago. She went to the dock to meet up and waited for a whole day, but no one came. So the scene at night happened. It turned out that there were still many people alive, but there was no one in this city. At this time, Ethan Gray heard some strange noises, leaned out the window, and saw a large group of night demons attacking. It turned out that Anna did not eliminate the smell when she rescued him and led them here. Ethan Gray quickly turned on the lights. There were too many night demons, and they were completely exhausted. Then he turned out to be their last. He had to take the woman and the child to the basement to hide. When he arrived at the basement, he found that the female night demon he had caught before had begun to recover the effect of the medicine, but at this time all the night demons also rushed in. Ethan Gray took Joe from the recovering female night demon and gave it to Anna and her son, asking them to hide in the secret passage and come out at dawn. He then took a grenade and died with the night demon. Then Anna brought Joe to the safe zone to save humanity, and Ethan Gray became a legend. In the second ending, the night demon leader was about to smash the glass door and drew a butterfly pattern on the glass. At this time, Ethan Gray suddenly realized that this night demon not only had intelligence, but also human emotions. The female night demon was his wife, and he was desperate to save his wife. Ethan Gray returned his wife to the night demon, and the night demon let him go. In fact, the night demons did not need to be saved. They had formed a new race, and in their eyes, humans were aliens. In the end, Ethan Gray and the mother and son left together and went to the refuge lock. The story ends here. So the question is, which ending do you like best? In addition, there are many metaphors in this film. That is, the butterflies that appear in this film. The butterflies here do not represent hope or rebirth from the cocoon in the Western view. Butterfly is the synonym of the killing angel Sira, one of the 9 angels, and the angel who controls despair. There will be many butterflies in the film, such as the butterfly drawn by the butterfly-shaped leader on the cracked glass, and the butterfly patterns on the necks of the female night demon and Anna. In addition to these, there are posters on street corners and a real butterfly on the corn pillar. The appearance of butterflies so many times seems to tell us that this zombie virus disaster is a judgment of mankind by God's killing angel Sira. Well, the story ends here. If you can find more butterflies, you can share them in the comment area. Thank you for your likes and support. We will see you next time.